I wouldn't even say it's a full review of the Dermlite Handyscope, but more just a quick discussion because it, as well as a couple of other models within the Dermlite line, I will admit they tend to get, I don't want to say overlooked, but the more niche a dermatoscope is, the less it seems to dominate certain conversations. And the Handyscope, I would say, fits that bill. The first thing that strikes most people is that it's not a traditional appearing dermatoscope. And here I have it in my closed hand. Right there, the purpose was to show you that, it all fits within the palm of the hand. And you can see with the shape and the design, it's not what you would normally think of as a typical handheld dermatoscope. And the reason is that it was originally made in collaboration with Fotofinder and intended to be more of a dermatoscope that is for photography and video. Now, that's not to say you can't use it as a traditional dermatoscope, but its true purpose and original design is really to be used when you're taking pictures or video. So if someone were to decide to use the Handyscope as a traditional dermatoscope, this is the view that you have. And you can see it's not, as far as its elegance, it's not the most elegant appearing from the backside. And again, that is because it's really designed to be used attached to your camera, smartphone, etc. And you can see here it's got the metal ring that makes it compatible with the Magnetic Connect system. And this is again here just showing the size and appearance. Now that red button, that's basically the selection switch. It's the power button as well as the selector switch to rotate between polarized, non-polarized, and also another feature which I'll show you here, which is that. I don't know if you noticed that, but we'll look at it from another angle. What that is a general exam light that you can use for lighting up the area, but that light is not channeled through the lens. Essentially, if you need to light up your exam area, that's an option that you have with the Handyscope, which more and more, I think most of us who use dermatoscopes, many times we use the light of the dermatoscope itself to brighten an area and make it easier to examine. So it's a nice feature, but most of our dermatoscopes can already achieve that through simply turning it on and rather than looking through the eyepiece, using the light to illuminate a given area. But it's a nice feature to have here, and it's bright. And as mentioned, it's easily compatible with the new Magnetic Connect clamp as well as any of the phone cases. And I'm going to freeze it right there. Again, when you're talking about using something for recording images, taking photos or recording video, the ergonomics of it are less important. It allows us to use a smaller device because we're not so dependent on actually holding it in our hands. We instead just need the mechanism of the light and the magnification. And so in doing so, once it's attached to your phone, to your camera, however you decide to use it, it has a relatively small footprint as compared to, say, attaching your DL4 to your phone, or DL3 or DL200. This is going to be obviously much smaller. And so from that perspective, it does make it easier and arguably better suited for situations in which you need a dedicated camera dermatoscope. But as far as my thoughts on having it as an all-around dermatoscope, now don't get me wrong, we do have customers who choose to use it as an all-around dermatoscope. But in my opinion, even as a distributor for Dermlite, I don't think there's anything wrong with stating how certain devices are better suited for certain tasks than others. In my opinion, I do think the Handyscope is probably best reserved for its original intended purpose of being like a dedicated photographic imaging dermatoscope, one that you can keep in the clinic and have for the nursing staff to use whenever dermoscopy images or video are needed, and can easily be carried and switched and passed around from room to room. That's really the niche of the Handyscope. But as always, any questions or if anyone has any opinions or thoughts otherwise, please feel free to comment below. Thanks.